past few years, collective research has debunked the popular myths that a high-fiber diet lifestyle can cause unfinished housework, late dinners, and neglected family members. In fact, continuing studies show that a high-fiber diet lifestyle may significantly improve the disposition of a crafter, creating a more contented home life. Furthermore, continued exposure can develop an ability to endure meetings, waiting rooms, school functions, and sporting events without experiencing the kind of boredom it makes one want to consume lead paint. Here are just a few ways one can properly increase daily fiber intake. Visit your local yarn store or shop online. Join online fiber communities. Tour sheep or alpaca farms. Attend fiber festivals. Or listen to the High Fiber Diet podcast. Please remember to spread your fiber intake throughout the day rather than trying to get it all in one shot. Stretching and resting is important, and your body will thank you.
Hi, this is Kagi, and welcome to the High Fiber Diet podcast. It's been a while since my last check-in. Things have been going on, so this is when I have a chance to do it. Welcome back. Welcome to new people. This is me, a little bit cockeyed. I keep trying. The tripod just doesn't wanna. I give up. I'd rather show you my stuff than sit here and fiddle with a camera. So if you have a problem with that, I can understand that because I have a little bit of that OCD thing going on too, but this is what we got. So, gonna start out, I'm coming to you from Michigan. I live in Grand Haven, and it is definitely beginning to be spring. And then winter, and then spring, and then winter, and you get it. I think the high today is going to be 55. I'll take it over, the negative numbers we get, but it's not exactly as high up as some of the months in April. So, yeah. I have two little monsters that own me, and you may see them. There's Gandalf and Cupid running around, and they like to investigate. So those are my little kitties. And let's get into it. What have I been doing? I have some finished objects. I have some spinning that I've finished. I have a lot of works in progress that I've been working on here, there, and everywhere. So let's go. Last episode, I showed you this. This is the book club shawl, and I had finished it. And I had said that I was going to do the storyteller shawl, which is the knit version. And I did that. I did not put fringe on this one. And I didn't specifically follow a genre. I think mostly this is the dystopian genre that the designer had put up, but I added mustard yellow to it because I thought it would make it pop. And I did not do this section here, the wide area, exactly to what the pattern said. That hurt my hands, so I changed it. And I did this in Hue and Me, which is a wool blend from Lion Brand. And it makes up into a rather large, heavy shawl. It is bulky weight. And so it will be quite snuggly in the fall and winter. And I enjoyed doing it, other than, like I said, I changed this up. The first couple rows were done with the slip stitch garter, and it hurt my hands too much. So I went into a straight slip stitch and I did arrows, and I did the slip stitch at the bottom, the slip stitch garter. I did this wrap and turn with the crossed smocking on it wrong. Not that you can tell. Down here I did it correctly. So one part it has holes in the story and one part it doesn't. And then it goes down into a garter. Well, my sister saw this, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit because in my works in progress, I have another one going. And I don't know if that'll be the last one. These are quick to make up, take me a couple weeks. And I enjoy having them. They go in the washer, they go in the dryer, they come out, you're done. So, of course, it just caught on my necklace. There we go. So that's one finished object. I also did another shawl, and this shawl, I'm gonna look up real quick how to pronounce it. This designer names everything after different kinds of tea. And she is the Red Teapot Atelier, and it is the Darling tea. I believe that is how that is said. It is that shawl. And I did it up in a very deep stash, mill end from 100% alpaca. I don't even remember where I got this from. It could have been from Hobie. It could have been from any of those big name brand Little Knits, anything like that. I don't know. It was a mill end. And this is crocheted. And I have finished this one, and it has been blocked. And I really like the way it came out. I'm not sure who this is going to go to. My neighbor right now is going through cancer treatment, and I may just give it to her to wrap up in while she's doing that. But I really enjoyed doing this pattern. It is done to pattern. I didn't change anything. So yeah, was a quick knit. I think it took me about a week, or quick crochet. Took me about a week, and I'm very happy with it. Very happy. Nice and large, able to be wrapped up in it. Kind of offset it, throw it over your shoulder. I'm wearing a sweater, so it's sticking. Yeah, it would be a nice curl up that you could do. And I'm trying to get yarns out of my stash. So the reason I chose this yarn, number one, it was in my stash, but this pattern is, I really like the way the different bits come together with the swirls. You have the shells, you have the open work, you have what they call the Victorian that has this down here with the lattice. I call them owl eyes in the middle. You can see that going on. I like the way the front post, back posts are done, and just the lacy look of it, with it looking really intricate, but not being really intricate. I wouldn't say a beginner crocheter could do this, but if you're an adventurous beginner, you could certainly do this. There isn't anything here that is out of the realm of weirdness when it comes to crochet. So very simple. I believe I used a 3.5 millimeter hook on this, and then I just soaked it with soak when I was done. Of course, wove in the ends, soaked it with soak, and I hung it in a weird way. And if I can put in a picture, depending on how iMovie works or not today, what I did, I didn't have an area on the floor that I could use that day. So I put it on the ends of two pant hangers, the kind with the clips, and I hung one on my bathroom door frame and one on my office door frame, and I stretched it between, and then I took a weight from my circular sock machine and put it on that and weighed it down, and it took maybe an hour to dry once I got it, because I soak it and then I spin it in a laundry bag in the washing machine. So I spin out all the water. And then I pull it out and I stretch it and block it. And that's what came of that. I mean, it was quick, it was easy, and that was that. So another item that I finished, let me get a sip of tea. I'm drinking lemon tea today. Is Red Heart Super Saver had granny square, so it automatically did granny squares. And I don't know, I think this is hot stuff or something like that. But I did a baby blanket, and you can see in certain places in the corners where the dark came out, but it's not so noticeable that I'm gonna go, well, I'm not giving this away. And it's completely usable as a baby blanket. This will be going to a lady at work that is currently cooking a little girl. And all I did for the outside was I did some regular 3 rows of granny and then a row of shells. And that was it on the outside. The white is just a scrap acrylic that I had in my stash. I am trying to reduce this year, it is my word. So this did take 2 skeins of, well, 1.5 skeins of the squares. So I still have half a skein to go. And I had bought 3 skeins thinking that I'd do a big one, but this isn't exactly set up to where you can just sit and do it. You have to be very precise on your count in order to get the corners to where you can move up to the next corner. And having to rip back and do and rip back and do, it's just tedious and annoying. And so this is the size blanket, and the little one will be kept warm with it. And I think my final finished object are my socks. This is done out of Emma's beautiful Simply Spectacular DK, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and 255 yards. I have a ball about this big left. It's already in my stash. There is the ball band. I have my sock blockers. I did the Hibernal DK socks again, but instead of doing it all the way down, I just did the leg area and did a standard stockinette on the foot. And of course I'm using Hornshaw Woodworks sock blockers. I really like the way this pattern knits up. According to the pattern, you do, of course, a certain number for the ribbing at the top, and then you do 10 repeats of the body into a heel flap and turn down to a rounded toe. And once I get to the heel tap and heel turn, I don't really look at the pattern. I do what I standardly do on my socks. And so this is the pair. I really like them. Excuse my nails if you're seeing them. I'm in the middle of gardening outside. I took off my tips and everything, so next week my nails will look better. That's just how that goes. So the only spinning item I have that is finished is this. I believe it is a BFL, possibly Rambouillet blend. I'm not exactly sure. I probably started spinning this while I was in South Dakota, because this is what I had to begin with. When I washed, thwacked, and then measured, I have about 400 yards here. It is between a Sport and a DK. So, and it's just a 2-ply. It will probably go into a shawl of some kind or in the neck area of a darker colored sweater. This is a little bit darker than the rest. Yes, they were all out of the same braid, but I think I dyed this. I'm not even sure. And that's how old it is, but it smells good, feels good, nice and soft, and it will get knit up into something one of these days, but 400 yards. So what do I have in whips? I have a pile. I've been on sort of a shawl kick. And so I started with another mill end of that alpaca that I have. I started a Molly shawl. And the Molly shawl is by Aglae Laser, Aglae with a oompla laser, magic and lace. So this is what it will turn out looking like. Again, rather simple, but elegant at the end. I am again using a 3.5 hook, and this is it so far. And this will stretch out nicely. It is really soft. It has some guard hairs in it, but they just come out in the wash. I'm not picking them out as I go. And currently, this is what sits next to me on the couch. And as I get ready to craft, I grab that or something else that I have in this pile because, yeah, I have a pile. Okay. Oh, I do have another finished object. I forgot it was in this. Do you remember me making up the toast? They're just the slide on arms that can be kept and you keep you warm. And I did them out of a fingering sock and a mohair. Well, I finished the hat that goes with, and this will become a set, and I'll give it to somebody. So the hat is finished. It's just a little cloche hat, nothing huge. And I have a set. No pattern on this. Pattern from a friend to knit with, Leslie Friend, on the arm warmer knits. So that I did have. Sorry, I didn't think about that. On to the whips. So out of, this is Cascade 220 Waves. I have started a Knititude sweater that's going to have a shawl collar, which is done on the outside and still going. You build it as you go. And I'm working towards the shoulders right now. What is the name of this sweater? You know, I should be more prepared, right? Gigi. Ooh. That is the Gigi cardigan. And it's slow going. I am liking the way the colors are coming out and fading in and out on the waves. And It's just a raglan at this point, and then on down through the body. I know there's increases and decreases on the outside, and it brings it into a button band. So it's all done as you're knitting. So that I have going. It hasn't seen love in the last 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on with it, but we'll see. I'm going to be going through things again and doing a true finish or frog. And I've got way too many whips. It's becoming a stress on me, and I don't want my knitting to be a stress on me. So I need to get that fixed. I am almost done. I have the very bottom ribbing, well, button band ribbing, to do on this. And then I have pockets. So this is the Magnus cardigan. This is the 4th one I'm making. Yeah. And the sleeves are done. Everything's woven in. And now I am just doing the neckband and button band, and then I'll have to put pockets on it. And I am working on a size 9 needle. These are supposed to be crocheted. I knit my ribbing, I just prefer to. But I see the end in sight. I've just got to get it finished. This is the back. Let's get that needle not sticking through. And I did this in Karen Halo Color. I think that's what it's called. And Woolies. So the Woolies is in black, noir, and this is Colorama Halo. And these are the colors. So I have to do this, the pockets first, and then the rest of this. I have a bunch of scraps in here of different, so that I could make sure that the colors go correctly. That will be becoming a baby blanket afterwards, so I will use up all of that. Whoops, again on the necklace. Not the right necklace to wear with knitting. Sorry about that. And then my next item I have going is just a simple scarf that I am doing out of Briar Rose in a colorway that I had used for color work, and it bled. So I decided to just use it in a scarf. And the pattern is Rev Knits Designs Lacy Prayer Shawl. But I don't think it's knitting up as a shawl. I'm done with the first ball. I'm on to the second ball. The first ball, of course, had been used in another project, so I'm only doing about a ball and a half. When I got to the end of the first ball, I did a stockinette with a slip stitch portion, just because I wanted something to break it up in case the colors were not exactly the same, and I didn't want to alternate at all. But I think this, I think this is coming out very nicely. When I block it, it's gonna go out to about yay big. It's not gonna block overly big. This lace pattern is easy to work with. It's a 4-row repeat, I think. 6-row repeat, I lied. and you just go on and on and on. And I will tell you, when I'm looking at them, as they're sticking up and unblocked, I see frogs jumping. But that's just me. So currently it's just on the go. I am using my copper needles for this. I believe that's on a size 8. And that is a bag I picked up in South Dakota at Sip Slip Knits, I believe is the name of the store. I'm terrible with names. The next one I am working on is the Veronica. And this is by Very Shannon. And as longtime watchers will know, I have a daughter named Veronica. This may go to her. This is done in a Malabrigo. Don't know if I have one of the things. I might. I think this is Paris Nights. Yep. Paris Nights in Seis Cabos. And I have begun the body back part. So this is the front by the sleeve, and the body back part is there, and it is very much a navy with colors. It is very knitting up very nicely. I am working on, I think size 7s. Nope, size 8s, Chiagos. And slow going, but this isn't a very old knitting in the mitten bag. This one is the truth. It says I far exceed the Surgeon General's RDA of fiber. That is me. And here in a button and boo bag, I have an Advent with a cashmere carry-along. Actually, I think this was a lint, so I think there's 40 colors here. And I'm just doing a simple, this stays in my car, and as I can, and I have a few, I knit on it. And I'm just doing every bit of the Advent or lint, whichever it is. And I have the cashmere being carried along. The colors that I still have to go, I'm still on this one. And then I have that one to go with. And there's plenty of yarn still in there. This is on a size 8. And it's as I can. Like I said, this stays in the car. And when Sarge is driving, or I have to go into a doctor's appointment or whatever, this gets pulled out. There is no end date inside for this. There's no need by date. So pulled it out of the car to show you. I don't know when the next time I'll show you that one. Then I needed a pair of socks on the go. And so I decided to do Love Bumblebees. It looked very Eastery to me, but I didn't get them done for Easter. There's an Easter coming up next year. So this is from Opal. This is the DK weight, 6-ply or size 6. I'm not sure exactly how they do that, but there's the little bumblebees. The pattern, the name of the colorway translates to Loves Bumblebees. And I am just doing a standard, let's see if I can put these on a blocker. Top down, heel flap. I did do a bit of a different on the gusset on these. I decided to try the underfoot gusset instead of the angled ankle gusset. And as you can see, this one forms like a triangle here. And this one, the triangle is at the bottom. And it just cups the heel cup. And it fits over the heel pretty well. I did the top a little bit longer than what I normally do, the leg. And so I do work on DPNs. These are Crystal Palace wooden DPNs. I've still got about yay much before I start my toe. And I'm very happy with them. I like the way it's coming out. I do a standard for a DK weight. I do 48 stitches. I normally do 12 to 15 rows of ribbing, 6 inches of leg. Then I do 24 rows of the slip one, knit one, do the heel turn, and then reduce down to the 48 stitches again. I am teaching, working with some people, and one of the people asked if she could start socks. And so I'm like, do you want double points? Do you want, and she asked for double points, she asked for metal. And because of how tiny her ankle is, I suggested that she start with 40 stitches. And so you can go 40, 44, 48, or 52, depending on the size of your ankle and the instep. And the instep is really held by how long you do your heel flap. It's not really how big around it is. Your ankle and your foot size is how big around it is. So this is being held in a Stitched by Jessalou bag with my squirrels. Thank you, Lori. And this goes in my purse for, you know, if I have a few minutes at work, or it's not in my car. This one's in my purse. So that's just how that goes. Then, whoops, that's my bag that I take to knit group with me. But I have my On the Way. Ooh, what is the name of this? It's by Hoki Locatelli. Something about Brighton. The Way from Brighton, or yeah, The Way from Brighton. By Hoki Locatelli. And I am doing that in, I think this is Malabrigo, but I'm not sure, which would be really, you know, I'm Malabrigo thick on this one. But I am to the point, of course I'm in the middle of a row, but I've made ends, and now every 6 rows I'm making a fringe. And you're supposed to do the fringe different and have 2 different sizes, and it looks like the end of a bone or something. I'm doing a long fringe and a short fringe instead, so that you have 2 different lengths fringe. And I'm still doing the repeats. It's a lot like the Veronica, where every once in a while you just do a knit row and another knit row instead of a knit row and a purl row, so you have a garter ridge. And one of these days this will be finished. I have 2 more skeins of this to work up, and that is on a size 7 needle. So I think the final thing in what is on my needles is the other Storyteller shawl. And I am at the point where I'm changing to another color. And this is done in ozone, salt, magic hour is the dark blue, desert is the light brown, the gray is cement. Yeah. And so those, as you can see on this one, I did not do the upper holes. I'm going to do the large holes at the bottom, and then I'm going to do a thicker garter band. And these are the colors my sister asked for. She said she wanted something that will go with denims. And so I'm doing this. This is on a size 11 needle. And again, the Hue and Me yarns, washable, dryable, easy. I am using a 50-inch cord for my interchangeables. And as you can see, it's starting to get bunched up even on that, but I'm almost to the point. This, again, I did not do the slip stitch with the garter. I'm doing just a slip stitch and then a purl back. And I like the way it's coming out, and it isn't hurting my hands. Unless my sister watches this, she will never know that it's different than the pattern, so I'm good. Not that she would care, it's going to keep her warm regardless. But I have a feeling this one is going to be bigger than the one that I did primarily in salt. And that is because I'm going to do that garter band a few inches longer because she doesn't want any kind of fringe. And I picked up a felted bag to hold the yarns and keep them separate. There are, let's see if you can see this. Let me get my yarn sorted. There are 2 little dividers in here that bring it out so that it holds each yarn easily. As I'm using a yarn, this is up, but as you can see, I have 2 of these because I will be using more of this. I have 2 of this color because I had this already going from the other one. I wanted to use it up before I start this one. I don't even know that I'm going to start that one. At the end of this, I'm going to have a lot of yarn left over, and I don't know if I'm just going to combine all of these colors and make another shawl, and that way I would have 4 done. And that means 2 sisters and 2 sister-in-laws might be able to get these shawls. Because personally, I've worn one of them. It's really heavy and I run warm anyways. I don't see myself using it. So if I got some shawl pins and I got the shawl and I sent them off, I think it would be a nice Christmas gift for them. So, or Mother's Day gift if I get everything done in time. Probably not. But anyways, that's where I am on that. And again, that's not a colorway that was on the designer's page. Now, things that I am thinking about, I have a few items that I'm looking at going, I want to make this, but what am I going to make this in? And one of them I have picked up is by Other Loops, the Lacy Loop Tee. I really like this. And I have enough of this Cotton, I think that's what this is, DK weight Cotton, in this ice blue, that I think that would make up a really nice summer sweater for, you know, wearing at work or in the evenings. So I'm thinking about that. I also want to start another skein or another plain sock. Find some sort of lacy top or something. And this is Tilicious from Emma's Yarn. And again, it's the 75-25. And I have my Knit Pros, I believe, needles in there to start that off. So that as soon as I'm done with my Easter socks, or even before if I want something different, I'm going to cast that on. And let's see if I can find it. I have a few things that I have the yarns for. I'm just not there in making it yet. They're just tucked away. But I bought this yarn for a crocheted sweater. And of course, now I can't find the crocheted sweater. That's how it goes, right? So maybe that's God's telling me I don't need to knit it right now. Maybe. But I have enough of this yarn. This is Remix Light by Barocco, and it is a fingering weight, 30% nylon, 27% cotton, acrylic silk, and linen blends. And I really want a sweater out of it. It is super soft. It feels like an old t-shirt. I just don't know if it's going to be knit or crochet. And then on my mill-ins, the next thing I'm thinking about doing out of my stash, I have a pink and white mill-in. And I'm thinking about doing another hexagon sweater, but instead of doing the granny stitch, I have hexagons that are knit, and maybe I will find a flower or a leaf or a something and do a hexagon out of that and see if I can bring that into play with those. I have 2 skeins that are both white with pink, and I think it would be a great summer cover-up if I do it open enough and lacy enough. And so I don't know if I'll do it crochet or if I'll do it knit. Either way, it's just what's playing in my head right now. But of course I have all this to finish, and I have other things still on the needles that I need to figure out if I've changed in, the 6 years that these things have been going on. And some of them are styles that I'll no longer wear and rip back and reclaim the yarn, or maybe say, hey, who wants to finish this? This is the size I'm making it in. Let me know if you'd be interested, and I can do that and make it easy. Just send it off. So the other thing is I ordered a kit on coiled baskets with pine needles. I've never done this. I've never done basket weaving. I want to learn. This comes with everything you need. And so I am thinking about making this up. And Sarge said, can you hold off? We'll get a second set of the needles. He wants to learn too. So it's something that we can do together. I also have 2 purse kits, one for my earbuds and one for an actual purse that are leather working that I need to get made up, and just time. And as with anything, of course, it works out between different things. We have Sarge is looking to fully retire now, so we're planning on that. My work is ramping up a little bit, so we're kind of playing it by ear here at home on what we're doing and how crafting and everything else fits in. I'm going to try to be a little bit more on top of recording, but I record when I can, and I'm just as busy as all of you. So I'm sorry I'm not out there every week like I used to be. And back in the day when it was audio, it was sometimes 2 times a week. Now I'm just, other things are in my life, and I'm not saying I'm any more busy than anyone else or any more important than anyone else. I'm just saying it doesn't fit with my lifestyle right now, and I come to you when I can. So as I'm saying that, check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet, like and subscribe, and I'll come at you when I can. Take care. Bye-bye.